Everybody, my name's Megan. Welcome to my channel. Here I take books I've read and I compare them to the movie or sometimes TV show, just whatever on-screen adaptation that they have. I primarily do young adult fiction books because those are my fave, but I sometimes venture out a little bit. So a couple weeks ago, a few weeks, I don't know exactly when, I did Percy Jackson's The Lightning Thief. And I read that series when I was in middle school, and it like brought me back to how much I loved it. Like it was just nice. Like I know they're not for my age group, but it was a good story still, and it was an easy read. Like whatever. I literally got this at the library yesterday morning, and I'm done. So, and I had a very busy weekend, and I still finished it. But it was very enjoyable. So this time I'm doing Sea of Monsters. The little library barcode on it. And I also got the DVD at the library. So awesome that libraries have DVDs. I'm going to use that so much. Okay, so before I jump in, I just want to say I did not have very high expectations because if you watch my last video, the first movie was a total bust. I did not like it at all. So on one hand, I was like, it couldn't possibly be worse than that one. Hopefully they improved. And they did a little bit, but I was still very disappointed. So without further ado, here is me comparing Sea of Monsters book to the movie. And of course, there are spoilers. My videos are made for people who have read or seen it already. So if you haven't done either one and you're just kind of looking to see if it's a good book to read or a good movie to watch, like, don't watch this because there's lots of spoilers. I'm literally nitpicking every single difference between the book and the movie. Okay, so here we go. So the movie starts out with the story of Thalia. I always feel like I say that name wrong. Thalia. Which makes sense because it was totally omitted from the last movie, whereas it was definitely featured in the first book, but it was not in the first movie at all. And I even mentioned, I'm like, I wonder how they're going to do the next movie without, like, Thalia being a thing, but they just made her a thing in this one. So yeah, that backstory wasn't necessary in the second book, although we were kind of reminded of it throughout. So the barrier and the Thalia tree were so far from their like gate entryway to the camp that the movies ended. So it added this little like archway where in the first movie the mom couldn't get past the archway. So here's the arch, here's camp, and then in the second movie here's the tree and the barrier. So how'd the tree should have been right by the arch, whatever. That was just one little thing that didn't line up from the two movies. Like I said, the gate entryway wasn't even in the book, so the movie's opening scene, after telling the Thalia story, it shows Percy already at camp, and Chiron is 100% there, whereas in the book, he was already kicked out of camp by the time Percy got there. It started out with him on his last day of school, and then he was friends with Tyson, and he got attacked by monsters at school, and then he escaped to the already in danger camp, and Chiron was already gone, and the barrier was already weak, so we just kind of missed that beginning part. He's just already at camp, and then that made me wonder if Tyson would still be in the movie since he wasn't in those opening scenes, but he was, so I'm very glad because he's kind of an important character, so I'm glad they didn't cut him. And then, so this is something else that didn't align. I was very mad last movie because Annabeth had brown hair when she's supposed to have blonde hair, and now she's blonde with just like no explanation, but at least it's true to the book, whatever. And then wait, so Chiron was there and he shouldn't have been, but then also Grover was at camp and he shouldn't have been. Like, he was off on his quest to find Pan, and then he was captured by Polyphemus, so why is he at camp? Like, I was very confused. I'm like, what? Not true to the book. And then this is when Tyson finally makes his entrance, but again, there's no claiming, which is something I really wanted to see, where the Poseidon kind of lets him know. He just said, like, straight up, like, Poseidon's my dad. Yeah, he just knew. So that was a bummer. And then one thing that I thought was funny, and when the bull was attacking, Annabeth fell and literally just went like, Percy! And then just, she laid there until he came back and helped her up. And that's so out of character for book Annabeth. Like, she would not just lay there like, like a little damsel. I was like, over it. Sorry, I just got really close to the camera. And then I feel like the opening scenes showed all the kids at camp doing these sick tricks and doing backflips and doing all this from jungle gyms, and now they're fighting this giant mechanical bull and they're just like running and stabbing. Like, where are the cool things y'all were learning? Like, that might be helpful in dodging, and so just like, y'all learned stuff. I just saw it. So why are you going to insert this scene of them doing sick tricks on a jungle gym and then not have them use it when they're fighting? And then I was mad because Tyson saved Clarice from the bullfire when in the book it was Percy, because Percy's like his person. Like, you saved Percy, not stupid Clarice. Forget her. And then Luke, for some reason, came to camp and was just like, yeah, I poisoned the tree. Where in the book, like, it happened at the end. It was a big reveal and blah, blah, blah. But the movie doesn't care about big reveals. Annabeth just thinks up the idea of the golden fleece on her own, whereas in the book, Percy had dreams of Grover, and he's like, oh, Grover said some powerful thing was there, and she's like, oh, that must be the fleece, we should go get it. But in the movie, she's just like, oh, we should go after this golden fleece, because in the movie, Grover wasn't captured, so they didn't have that. Okay, so the Oracle. Last movie, I was super disappointed that they didn't put her in. And I want to see it so bad. And then now it was in this movie, but the Oracle wasn't ever in this book. Percy never talked to the Oracle in this book. So I don't know why they put it in this movie. And then I was also mad because he heard the whole prophecy when in the book he was just kind of hinted, like other people knew his prophecy and they just told him snippets. But this time he heard the whole thing. They're like, here's your whole life, blah, blah, blah. And then it adjusted the age to 20, whereas in the book it's 16. The characters in the movie are a little bit older. But yeah, just like straight up said his whole prophecy. When you turn 20, you're going to make a decision, blah, blah, blah. Out of here. Where's the secrecy? Where's the mystery, huh? There were no chariot races, blah, so no attack of the birds. Okay, so one thing I'm confused about with this movie is why does Percy think he should go on this quest at all if it's not to save Grover? Clarice was chosen for the quest in both the movie and the book. In the book, Percy's like, dude, I gotta go. It was my idea. You know, I want to save my friend Grover, and he goes anyway. But in the movie, his friend's not kidnapped, and it wasn't his idea. So why is he still going? Like, dude, it's not your turn. It's Clarice's turn. And then she only gets to bring a satyr with her, whereas in the book, she was able to bring 2 friends. But that's a small detail, whatevs. There was no meeting with Hermes convincing Percy to go after the golden fleece. And then I said, does this mean no wind thermos and no vitamins? And then I also said, does this mean no guinea pig scene? But then I added that they meet Hermes later at a UPS store and he gives them the wind thermos and a matter eliminator there. And I kind of figured there'd be no guinea pig scene. Like, they ain't got the effects budget for that. I was also mad. In the movie, the mist is a spray. Like, the mist is just something that exists, and humans can't see the magical things, but, like, Annabeth spraying Tyson in the face to cover up his eye, so that was weird. And then I said I knew they would include the Grey Sisters at some point, but they all have teeth. They were much earlier on in the book, but whatever, at least they got their little cameo. But they all had teeth when they were supposed to all share one tooth. But again, they ain't got the budget for that, probably. I don't know. Or they just didn't pay attention to detail. But they did share the one eyeball, so it is. And then, so another thing that confused me. So, in the movie, he asks, in both the movie and the book, he asks the Grey Sisters what they know about his prophecy. But in the movie, he heard the prophecy, the whole thing. So why does he want to know what they know when he knows the whole thing? In the book, he wanted details on his prophecy. I don't even know. And then, so Then they gave him coordinates for this mission, which wasn't even his prophecy. So I'm so confused on why. I just don't get it. There's a random coffee shop scene showing a guy with 6 arms, like making the coffee and stuff. But I was confused because is he a monster or like what? Because the only mythological creatures we see are either half-bloods, gods, or monsters. So is this dude a monster and he's just making coffee and not trying to kill? And he was like high-fiving Grover. I was confused by that. Who is this guy? Like, why does he have 6 arms? I don't get why it was included at all. And then Luke kidnapped Grover to find the fleece for him. So finally we get the aspect where Grover's missing. I was very surprised that they included a hippocampus. I didn't think they'd have the effects budget for that either. But they only did 1 instead of 3. But at least it was there. It was way bigger and way different than I imagined it, but it was there. And I said, this is completely besides the point. This just irked me. You would think if Percy would put that dang backpack on both shoulders, and he just had it on one, and it was flopping around while he's riding this hippocampus. He has to keep adjusting it. Like, you're on a mission, boy. Put those backpack straps on. You are not cool. Too cool. That's like middle school thinking you're too cool to wear your backpack right, boy. You don't want to be flopping it around while you're fighting monsters. Ugh. Doesn't make sense. Princess Andromeda is supposed to be a cruise ship, not a yacht, but okay. Who's this Chris guy and why is he relevant? There's no Chris in the book, but there's a bad camper guy named Chris who's on Luke's side. Okay, that's another thing that didn't make sense. So if Luke is going after the fleece himself, then why did he poison Thalia's tree? He did that in the books so that he wouldn't have to go get the fleece. He would just take it from them after they got it. He'd send them to go get it, and then they'd come back and he'd be like, ha, gotcha. But now he's sending them to go get it to save the tree, and then he's going to get it too. So I don't know. I didn't get that. He's just going for it regardless, so why'd he send them? Trying to go fast because I'm at 12 minutes. Percy seemed to have more water powers in the movie. The whole busting out of Luke's jail cell scene never happened in the book. And then a Cyclops actually killed Thalia in the movie. That's way more intense than what happened in the book. And wow, how rude. So all of a sudden Percy's water stuff wasn't working, his powers. And Annabeth says, the Sea of Monsters may not be in Poseidon's domain. What? All water works with him. He worked with a swimming pool. Like, what are you talking about? His domain. It's in the ocean. That's his domain. Like, it was his domain the whole book. Where's this coming from? And then they got swallowed by something huge, and Clarice got swallowed by it too. And they're like, oh, what's up, Clarice? Let's team up. Like, where is this coming from? And then Polyphemus is on the same island as Circe. And it's also an amusement park for some reason. And also, we never see Circe. We never lost Tyson along the way. Tyson's just always there. They rode a ride to Polyphemus, immediately found Grover. There's no tricking him, no opening a cave, no sheep. Polyphemus ate all his sheep. And then also the fleece is just over his shoulder, just so trying to get it on his shoulder when it's supposed to be hanging from a tree by a killer sheep, but whatever. And then I said, what the heck? Tyson dies? There's no way he survived that. He fell from a cliff into pounding waves and rocks. I said, there's no way he survived it. They're not coming back together, and then, like, they should. And then Luke put the fleece on Kronos. Dude, the end of this movie is such a mess. Tyson did come back. He said, the water healed me. Like, dude, you were dead on impact. Ain't no water healing that, but okay. So the water healed him. He came back to save the day, ex machina. And then Luke actually put the fleece on Kronos. In the book, he wanted to make him heal faster. But in the movie, he put it on him, and Kronos comes together in the movie. Kronos is still in his sarcophagus, whatever it's called, coffin, in the book. I feel like they just skipped 3 books. I haven't read the books in a while, but I feel like that does not happen this soon. So Kronos is here. So now I'm confused. Is he 20? Is this the prophecy happening and coming true already? I was very confused. Why is Kronos here? And then he beat Kronos with the sword, and then it was all happy, except Annabeth got stabbed, and he put the fleece on Annabeth, and it healed her like that. Whereas in the book, it took time to heal, which makes sense. But basically, the whole ending of the movie was a mess. Kronos came back, and then he died again. But the prophecy did not come true because Thalia still came alive, and then he's like, ooh, is it me or is it Thalia? Which is how it is in the book. But I don't know how Kronos was here one second, and now he's not here, and now he's supposed to be a big threat again. Like, he was very easy to beat. Anyways, I clearly did not like this movie. I'm sorry, I'm ranting. Let me know. Next week, I'm doing All the Bright Places. I am so excited. It's coming on Netflix, so stay tuned.